Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today, wherever you are. Let me just check. Super excited you're able to join me today. Wow, super excited. Great, great. Let me check if everything is all right and we are ready to go. Um, let me check on these devices. It's so exciting to have anyone join. If you're here and you're watching the replay, what a great time it is to be here. I like to say happy, happy independence to Nigeria. Okay, so great. We are live on YouTube, and I want to just check also if we're also live on Facebook. Just a bit. Let's confirm that. Are we live? Okay, great. Thank you everyone for joining wherever you're joining from. I'm super excited to have you here. Today we'll be talking about the significance of leadership. The significance of leadership. Why are we going to talk about that today? Because leadership is very, very important. Leadership is a bedrock for success. Leadership is what we need as a people, as a nation, to rule self leadership, to rule very well, and to achieve the kind of to achieve fullness of our potentials while we're on earth. So I think what I'm going to share today with you is going to inspire you to undertake this journey of leadership, and it's going to allow you and give you the sense of what leadership is all about. You cannot have any significance in life without leadership. In fact, leadership is everything. And that's what we're going to consider today, the significance of leadership. One of the common mistakes I see most people make is that they look at people that are very hardworking in their organizations. They look at people that are very, very hardworking and dedicated, and they think that hardworking necessarily means that the person will be a good leader. It will be a disadvantage to you or to yourself or to your organization if you took someone that is good at the job, is good with the skills, but you have not trained that person on leadership skills. Leadership abilities can be learned. I believe every one of us have the potential to develop our leadership skills, because without that, you may be good at your job, but you may not necessarily be a good leader. So I see a lot of companies make this mistake. I see a lot of people make these mistakes. And over time, it has devalued the person because you put the person in a position that the person is not equipped to deliver. And then the person gets frustrated, you get frustrated, and you eventually lose that person. And that person could be a potential leader if that person is well trained. Now, one of the things that I like to say is that John Maxwell says something very remarkable. He says that everything rises and falls on leadership. Now, for those that do not know me, my name is Shino Salako, and I'm a Maxwell Leadership Team member. I'm an entrepreneur. I teach, I train, I lead, I inspire, and I like to say I dance dicks. What that means is that I do personality tests so that people can be self-aware of themselves. And John Maxwell is a leader, is a first-class leader, is a guru on the subject of leadership. He has written over 100 books. Can you imagine? 100 books on the subject of leadership. And I am so inspired by his books and materials. And if you've not read any of his books, I encourage you to look for a material on anything on leadership and read. Now, look at the quote on the screen. John Maxwell says, everything rises and falls on leadership, whether it's in the family, whether it is in the place of work, everything does rise and falls on leadership. Without leadership, there's no growth. Without leadership, there's no success. Without leadership, there's no development. Without leadership, there's no responsibility. Without leadership, there is no career advancement. And that is why Leadership is significant for everyone's development. It is significant for your growth, and it is significant for the country. It is significant for an organization. Any person that wants to be someone of high repute, someone of great value, someone that will be a person of significance and impact, that person must be someone that embraces leadership. Because without leadership, you cannot rise, and you cannot rise above the lead of your leadership. So Maxwell says that, and it's a very powerful quote to note. Now, let me make this screen bigger. What does this statement actually mean? It means that without leadership, there's no responsibility. Without leadership, there's no influence. Without leadership, there's no vision and there's no direction. Everybody will just be wandering about and not having a clear path or a clear direction as to where they're headed. Now, without leadership, problems cannot be solved because somebody needs to come on the scene and take responsibility to solve the problem. Without leadership, there's no empowerment. Somebody must see value in you. You must see value in yourself and then empower yourself. Without leadership, there's no trust and there's no confidence. Without developing the right leadership skills, people will lose trust in you and you lack confidence to deliver what you say you're going to deliver. And then when you consider self-development, which is self-leadership, without leadership, there's no personal growth. One of the things that is very important that I must say is that we must embrace personal development. It is the bedrock at which everything stands. It is the bedrock and the foundation for our growth. We must embrace personal development. Without leadership, you will not make the right decisions because you have not understood who you are. You have not understood what your strengths are. You don't know what your triggers are. You don't know how to analyze situations and data. So without leadership, without the abilities to develop yourself as a leader, you will lack the ability to make sound decisions. And one of the things that I must say is career development. You want to be someone that wants to advance in your career. You want to always be seen as a person that would, take the business to the next level. Then you must embrace leadership. I wrote an article on LinkedIn some days back, and I said that people must understand and stop over-indexing hard skills. It is good to be competent at your job. It is good to know how to deliver on your job. Very good. However, what gets you promoted is your ability to lead a team. It is your ability to be a team player. So it helps in career development. So you see what Maxwell says, that everything rises and falls on leadership. Now, if you're going to go into entrepreneurship, leadership is important. In fact, without leadership, that business or that venture that you're venturing into may not grow. In fact, you may never grow the business beyond your level of leadership. There's a law of the lead, and one of the books Maxwell wrote about, talked about the laws of the lead. And he said, everything stops or rises at your level of development. You want to grow a business, it stops at your level of development. So if you want your business to grow, increase the lead of your leadership development, and then the business will naturally ascend to that level. So as an entrepreneur, someone that wants to venture entrepreneur, you need leadership. It helps you to know how to manage teams. It helps you know how to set the direction and chart the course for leadership or for the team. And then without leadership, there is no financial management. I see a lot of people make money and then they lose money because they lack the discipline to be financially prudent. And it takes self-leadership to be able to do that. And lastly, without leadership, there's no crisis management. And in the business world, whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you work in a place, whether you're aspiring to work in a place, wherever you are, at what stage you are, crisis will come. Your ability to solve crisis will enhance your leadership skills. Your ability, in fact, what they pay you for in your place of work is to solve problems. If you solve problems, you manage crisis, it advances you. So leadership is very important. So what Maxwell said is key. Everything, whether it's in the family, whether it's in the church, whether it's in your home, whether it's in a business place, in a community of friends, in your community, everything rises and falls on leadership. That's a big one. Now, look at this quote carefully. It says, failure to invest in your personal development could result in self-sabotage, thereby undermining the very profession or business you endeavor to grow or establish. This is very important. So, without leadership, you may not be able to, develop yourself to grow. It could be a silent saboteur for you, thereby undermining the foundation of the profession or business you're trying to build. So, without leadership, you may fail at the business or the profession you're trying to build. And that is why we started the 10-day leadership challenge. If you have not subscribed to the 10-day leadership challenge, you need to subscribe. It is 10 days worth of videos, 10 days worth of deep-rooted, well-curated materials that will help you, number one, to craft your personal mission. Day two, to craft your personal goals. Many of us do not know the why. We don't know the essence. We don't know the core of our existence. Please go watch that video. If you're not registered, I'll put the link below. Go and register for the 10-day leadership challenge. It is absolutely free. 10 days. And I see after you've done that, your leadership level will soar. So this is very important, okay? And one of the favorite video that I did was day 4, when I talked about finding your one thing. Leadership is key because it helps you to know what to focus on and what not to focus on. If you're getting value wherever you are, if you're watching a replay of this video, just put your comments, ask questions, and I'm going to engage with those questions anytime we have the opportunity to. So 10-day leadership challenge is ongoing right now, and go and register and then begin to develop leadership skills. Now, what are the common misunderstandings about leadership? What are the common misunderstandings? People think that leadership is about having power over people. It is not. It is about building cohesiveness. It's about building collaborations. It's about building people. So it is not about having power over people. Some of us people think also that leaders are born and are not made. It could be true that some people are born with some certain special traits. However, leadership skills can be learned. Everything about leadership can be learned. Number 3 is that leaders have all the answers. Can I bust your bubble tonight? Leaders don't need to have all the answers. They must just be willing to learn, willing to collaborate, willing to experience, and willing to give people audience to listen and learn. That's what leadership is all about. It's not necessarily having all the answers. Number 4 is that many people feel that leaders should not show vulnerability. In fact, your ability to show vulnerability helps you to connect and build trust and credibility with your followers. So is it okay to show vulnerability? Yes, in some ways. But ever is not a sign of weakness. Number 5 is that people think that leaders should be strong and unemotional. That's also a misconception. Why? Because when you are developing leadership skills, one of the things that you need to develop is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence. You need to be able to manage your emotions, manage the emotions of people, and know how to interact with them. Thank you, Shegun Alagbe, True Talk. Thank you for the comment there. Please drop your questions so that we can engage together. Thank you very much. So, thank you. As I go back to the topic, strong leaders is a misconception. Leaders have emotions. We have the human side of leadership. We have the human side of leadership. You must be able to develop emotional intelligence. So that's a misconception. In this part of the world, in Africa, we think leaders should be strong. And the more stronger they are, the more respected they are, the more leadership skills they have. It is a wrong misconception. Okay. Then the last one is the solitary role of leadership. It is not actually lonely at the top. If you build people and you collaborate with people, leadership is not actually lonely. So, what exactly is leadership? One word: leadership is influence. John Maxwell says that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing else. Leadership is influence. And let me say, it is positive influence. Adolf Hitler had a negative influence. And in 1938, uh, Time magazine gave him the Man of the Year award. But he was a person of negative influence. Today, our focus is on building positive influence. And there are different levels of influence. I'm going to talk about that in a bit. There are different levels of influence. Leadership goes beyond mere job titles and positions. In fact, job titles and positions are the least level of leadership. In the levels of leadership, job titles, positions are the least level of leadership. So leadership is influence. Influencing people to change their mindsets, that is leadership. Influencing people to become better than they met you, that's leadership. Influencing people to become the best version of themselves, that's leadership. Influencing people to strive to be better than 1% better every day, that is leadership. So the big question to you is, what kind of leader are you? Are you a leader that has positive influence, or a leader that has negative influence? It is critical to develop positive influence. Martin Luther King is a man of positive influence. Many years from now, and many years, after he's gone, people still remember him because of his influence. And which is why developing leadership skill is important. What do you want to be known for? You just want to pass through the earth without having any form of impact in the lives of people? Or you want to leave a positive landmark in the sand of time? This is very, very important. And that is the essence of leadership. It can be learned, it can be cultivated, it can be developed, if you're only willing to. So the focus is on creating a positive influence and making a meaningful impact. Now, there's a research that says that throughout the lifetime of an individual, the most introverted individual can influence up to 10,000 people. Imagine 10,000 people, most introverted individual. Now, imagine if you are now intentional about how you lead. Imagine the kind of impact you would make in that small circle or that small sphere of influence that you have. Imagine the kind of impact you will make in the lives of people if you become intentional. Throughout your lifetime, you will possibly impact and influence more than 10,000 people, which is why we must become intentional on how we influence. So there are 5 levels of leadership, like I mentioned. There are 5 levels of leadership. The least level is position. So don't think that I don't have a position, therefore I'm not a leader. If you are able to impact your neighbor, impact your colleagues at work, impact your neighbors, impact your business space, impact people around you, you are a leader. Somebody type, I'm a leader here. You are a leader. If you are just able to impact people, doing it intentionally, you are a leader. Okay? Somebody type, I'm a leader. I'm a leader. But therefore, we must now begin to do things intentionally. That little child in your environment, how are you impacting and influencing them? Those people in your church, in your circle? How are you impacting and influencing them? You must do so. Yes, I'm a leader. I like that. I'm a leader. Thank you very much. I'm a leader. And then, therefore, we need to develop and enhance our leadership. Now, there are 5 levels of leadership. I mentioned the first one. The first level of leadership is what I call the positional level of leadership. John Maxwell says is the lowest level of leadership. People follow you on that level because they don't have a choice than to follow you. So you are a leader because somebody appointed you to a position, and therefore they have no choice than to follow you. Then you rely on the influence of the leader that brought you to that position. That is positional level of leadership, and it is the least level of leadership. Somebody getting value? Yes. It is the least level of leadership. I'm super excited about the topic of leadership because it is something that can change lives. It is something that we all must embrace. It is something that when it is fully developed, we can change the narrative of Nigeria. We can change the narrative of our business space. We can change the narrative of our family. So leadership is something that must be important. Remember, I started with number 1, which is the lowest level of leadership. The lowest level of leadership is the thank you, sir. I can see you. Thank you very much, sir. This is my mentor. Thank you, Odeyemi. Thank you for holding my hands. Thank you for the support. Thank you very much, sir. Lowest level of leadership is positional, and that's why we must grow from that level of positional level of leadership. And then we must move to the second level of leadership, which is called permission level of leadership. Let me make this bigger. Permission level of leadership. At this point, people follow you because they have permitted you to lead them. This is a good place to be because at this point, people begin to get results. At this point, people follow you willingly because they have permitted you to lead them. So it is okay to have a position. Don't get it wrong. I'm not against having positions or titles. But we're saying you need to move beyond the level of that position, the influence of that position, and then build relationships with people. Let people buy the buying of people, their permission to be their leader, and then take them on a journey of self-discovery, on a journey of self-actualization, on a journey of becoming the best version they can possibly be. Now, the third level is production level. People follow you at this level because of the results that you bring out. And this is very important. As a leader, you must have results to show because that's what people will see and that's what will bring people close to you. So people follow you because of the level of results that you have and then the level of results that you can make them also achieve. So it goes beyond titles. It's one of the things that we must deal with. And people fight for titles so much. Everybody just wants to have a title and they think having titles makes them leaders. There are people that have titles but don't have influence. This is very instructive. They have titles, they have followers, but they are following them because of a paycheck. If you take the paycheck off or they take the title off, you'll be left alone. So that's why you must produce results on level 3 so that people can follow you because of the results that you make them also achieve after you have achieved yours. Then the 4th level is people development. Leadership is about developing people. Let me ask you a question. How many people have you developed? How many people? Remember I mentioned that in a lifetime, the most introverted person will influence 10,000 people. Now, how many people are you consciously developing? How many people? How many people can look up to you and say, thank God for this man? I got a very, very interesting message. And somebody just sent me the message and it was like life to me. The person said, thank you for just showing up. Because you showed up, now I can take that leap of faith. It was one of the best messages I could ever get. Why? Because you develop people and then they see potentials in themselves. People that never could ever think they could achieve anything, you consciously develop them and then they start achieving great results. They will never, never forget you in a hurry. So leadership is about developing people. So let me ask you this question. How many people have you developed? If you have not, be conscious about developing people. Be conscious about developing people. Invest in people. Invest in people. Be available and be reachable. Whatever you know, it is important to share it. Right? Share what you know. Develop people. So that's what leadership is all about. Leadership is about people. It's about people. John Maxwell says one powerful quote, and he says, a leader that is leading and nobody is following is only taking a walk. So are you taking a walk? Or you are actually leading and people are following you? Very, very instructive. Remember, influence is leadership. Influence is power. Influence is leadership. Influence is power. Can somebody just type it down wherever you are? Influence is leadership, not titles, not position. Influence is power. So wherever you are, you can start where you are. You can start where you are. You can start leading. You can start consciously making a change. You can start changing the narrative of this country where you are. You can start leading where you are. I'm super excited about this topic. I don't know about you. If you're excited, just type in the box, excited, excited. I can lead wherever I am. Great, great, great. Thank you very much. So leadership is influence. Now, let me talk about the keys to leadership. The key to leadership. And this is very, very important. We know that we all have 24 hours, and therefore we need to maximize the time that we have. And therefore, we need to understand the power of priorities. The power of priorities. You cannot spread yourself so thin. If you have not registered for the 10-day leadership challenge, you had better go register. I was pouring out fire. I was pouring out fire in those videos. Go register. I'm going to drop the link now. Go and register for the 10-day leadership challenge. Day one, I spoke about crafting a personal mission. Do you have a mission? Do you have a mission? Are you just about survival, or you want to have significance? Leadership gives you a shot at significance. Go, 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 go. Register, register, register. Let's engage in these 10 days and build up our leadership power and abilities. Okay. So one of the things I need to talk about before I wrap up is the power of the 20/80 principle. Not everything is important. In fact, in one of the videos in the 10-day leadership challenge, hashtag 10-day leadership challenge, I spoke about the one thing principle. I think that's the video for day 4. So please go register. The one thing that makes everything else irrelevant. What is that thing that will make everything else irrelevant? If you achieve it, it takes off the weight off you and therefore makes everything else irrelevant. You need to identify it. You need to identify it. Go watch that video. There's a lot of information there that will help you in doing that. So what is this 20/80 principle? What is this 20/80 principle? And why is it so important? I'm going to read from here. I wrote a lot of things around the 20/80 principle. So permit me to read from here. John Maxwell says that you can't manage your time, but you can manage your priorities. You can't be everywhere. That's the truth. We only have 24 hours. So how can I spread my impact and focus on the most important things? What is the 20% thing that I need to do that will guarantee me the 80% results? What is the 20% thing I need to do that will guarantee me the 20% results? You see, having too many priorities paralyzes people. Let me give you a story here. A lion tamer, when it goes into the lion's cage, it goes with a stool, 4-leg stool, goes into the cage with the 4-leg stool, and then points the stool towards the lion. So the lion is looking at the stool and trying to focus at the individual, the tamer. And because it's focusing on the stool and the individual at the same time, his attention and focus becomes paralyzed and divided. And that's how many of us are. We focus on so many things at the same time, and therefore it leads to paralysis, which is why we must know what to prioritize. It is a key to success in your leadership journey. It's a key to success in your career development. It's a key to success in your professional development. So you must know what to prioritize. So let me give you some questions here. Please take them down and write them, okay? So don't be like a lion focusing on so many things. It can lead to paralysis. It can lead to paralysis. So let's take down these questions. So number one, what 20% of your products accounts for 80% of your total sales? That's if you're in business. What 20% of your products accounts for 80% of your total sales? Those are the things you should focus on. Okay? As a leader. Which 20% of customer demography generates 80% of your profits? The 20-80 rule. Powerful. I saw one of my mentors post one time. He says that if you master this 80-20 principle, you have solved the complexities of life. If you can master this 80-20 principle, you have solved all the complexities of life. Okay? If you're getting value, type I'm getting value. So what 20% features in your product attracts 80% of customer interest? You need to write them down. You need to just have that down. Understanding that what 20% of your selling time yields 80% of your closed deals. The 80-20 principle is a game changer. And that is the significance of leadership. That's why we must embrace leadership. And that's why you must register for the 10-day leadership challenge. You must register for it. 10 is free. It's free. It doesn't need to cost you anything. It's free. Full value. Thank you, sir. It says, I'm getting value. Thank you, sir. How do you hear me? I'm getting value. Thank you very much. So go and make a list. If you have to sit down and just keep writing the 2080, your 2080. If you're a business person, write your 2080. If you are a professional and trying to develop your career, write what is your 20 that will guarantee your 80% produce or increase or profits. Write them down. It is life-changing. And that's the significance of leadership. I have a long list of them here, but because of time, I would want to bore you with lots of them. What 20% of industry trends and news provides or produces 80% of strategic marketing insights? This is instructive. This is instructive. So why are we talking about leadership? Because more than ever before, we need to raise leaders, especially in Nigeria now. Nigeria is 63 today. People don't lead themselves. That's a problem. You can find people that know the job, they have technical expertise, but they lack leadership abilities. They lack leadership abilities. They can't lead the people. They can't lead the people to a promising destination. They can't influence. Please prioritize leadership development. If there's anything you take away from this session today, is that you must prioritize leadership development. Leaders are most sought after people. They are looking for leaders. And I hope they will find you. So as I wrap up, in the next 6 minutes or so, the 10-day leadership challenge is very, very crucial. It's crucial for your development. Whether you are a seasoned professional, you need to go through it. It will help you to design for yourself what your why is. What your why is. What is your why? Why are you here? What is the core of your essence? The 10-day leadership challenge, day one, helps you to craft out your personal mission. That's your why. And then your goals. The goals are the what you need to do to get you to your why. I see many of us getting to the top. I see many of us that are here on this call getting to the top. Can you type I'm getting to the top? Can you type I'm getting to the top? Let's engage. I'm getting to the top. Do you have any questions? We're going to wrap up in the next 5 minutes. Any questions? Any questions? Just put it up here on the chat. Any questions? We are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook. We are live on Twitter. So wherever you are, just type in the question so that we can engage. Remember, I mentioned one of the misconceptions of leaders or about leadership. Yes, I'm getting to the top. I like that. Thank you, dear. I'm getting to the top. Great, 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 great. But therefore, as I wrap up, if you questions, thank you, thank you. Questions, please. Let's engage. Any questions? Leadership is a game changer. There are a lot of things to talk about, but I just wanted to spend 40 minutes today. And then I want to encourage you to go into the 10-day leadership challenge and be inspired, and begin to influence where you are. Start influencing. Start changing one person at a time. Changing their core values, changing their thinking patterns, and helping them to develop what I call the growth mindset. Very important. You know the difference between growth mindset and fixed mindset. A fixed mindset individual believes that I've gotten to my peak, I cannot develop further. But a growth mindset person is someone that feels and understands that his knowledge and capacity can be enhanced. He doesn't feel like he has achieved anything. He's always learning. Every day he wants to be 1% better than he is or than he was a day before. That is what leadership is all about. So thank you very much for joining. If you don't have any questions, you can put in the chat. We can engage. After now. Let's engage and give value. Thank you very much. Remember what I started with? Everything rises and falls on leadership. Everything rises and falls on leadership. Everything rises and falls on leadership. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm super excited you took out time on the first day of October to join. Together, let's lead Nigeria. Let's grow our narrative of this country. Happy independence to Nigeria. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a wonderful time. Okay, somebody asked the question, why is effective leadership crucial in guiding organizations through challenges? Thank you very much. That's a powerful question, Percy. Why is effective leadership crucial in guiding organizations through challenges and fostering a positive work environment? You see, the leader sets the tone and the culture of the organization. And culture can eat your strategy for lunch, so culture is important. And a leader builds culture of innovation, culture of persistency, culture of creativity. So in these times where there's a lot of up and down, the economy is not doing very well, leadership charts the course for the country or for the organization. So effective leadership enhances effective communication, ability to communicate the vision effectively is crucial in this time. And it will help foster a positive work exchange. And it helps to build about trust and communication. You know, everything is about communication, right? Effective and active listening. In fact, day 10 of the 10-day leadership challenge, I spoke about the power of active listening. Just get that 10-day leadership challenge package. It is free. It establishes how organizations can become effective in times like this and build a positive work culture. So culture is important. Charting the direction is important as leaders. Um, Building an empowerment, empowering people is important as a leader, because you can't do everything by yourself, and you must realize that. So effective leadership is important. I think I've answered your question. Is it okay, sir? Have I answered it? If I've answered it, just type yes. If not, let me know. Have I answered it a bit? Person, please just type if that is answered clearly. Are you there? Can you type? 100%. Thank you very much. I'm sure we all got value today. So let's engage on the social media platforms. We're live on Facebook. Engage and let us keep developing ourselves. Thank you for joining, and see you all at the top.